Okay, so it's,
I'm starting the live stream right now, Craig, if you want to give me just a moment.
yep, nope. I'm just trying to make sure we're not missing anybody before telling you to do so.
Okay. And we are live.
All right.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're starting our meeting a little bit late here at.
Turn on your microphone.
Ishpeming at 5 o'clock.
Use your microphone.
Oh, sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Craig. We're starting our meeting a little bit late here at 5 o'clock. Kathy has the roll call. So calling the meeting to order at 5 p.m. Sorry, we're getting started late. Thank you for bearing with us. And after the roll call, the first thing is, much to my chagrin, the election of officers.
Okay, I make a motion that David A. stays as whatever you are, president.
Chairperson.
I nominate David to stay as our chairperson.
Second.
Did you want to do each individually, or did you want to do everybody? For the chair, the vice chair,
Oh,
treasurer, secretary?
Yeah, let's make one motion.
oh, make it one motion, just keep it all as is?
I just, if
Okay,
that's,
I'll
you can do them
redo
all
it.
separate too, I was just asking.
I'll redo my motion. Everything that we did in 2020, I want to redo for 2021
Okay,
as officers.
okay, that's David A. as chair, David Arrow as vice chair, Jim as treasurer, and Sandy as secretary.
And it's just a title, I do nothing.
You still have a crown.
Oh, wait.
And someone just gave me angel wings.
I just recognized that I could have had the secretary collect this data on Friday.
Wow.
I think in like 4 or 5 years as vice chair, I've run the meeting once. So
Did we get a second?
You, so we have a motion, and then who was the second?
Both of them
Oh,
did.
thank you,
So
John.
whoever.
Motion and second. Do we have any further discussion? Any pleadings from Dave? Anything like that?
anybody need a resume stuffer?
He said,
At any rate, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion carries. The next thing on the agenda then is public comment. Do we have any public comment? We do have, besides Bob from the Chamber of Commerce, no one has magically appeared. Linda Andriaki disappeared to her next engagement in Marquette.
We have to ask Jim if he sees anybody.
So Jim, is there anyone in Zoom land that is wanting to make a comment, or do we know?
There are no attendees participating in the public Zoom.
I'm crestfallen. That's so unfortunate. Boo-hoo. Anyway, well, in case they're stealthy, we'll just ask, and no, we don't hear anyone. So we'll move on then to the next thing, the approval of the minutes that were from our previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of December 7th, 2020 meeting.
I'll support.
We have an emotion and we have some support. Were there any clarifications, adjustments, anything that anyone saw that needs any attention? Hearing nothing, we have a motion, a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. The next thing we have is the financial report. And Jim, if you'd be so kind to walk us through that.
Yes, sir. In your packet, you have the financials as of December 31st, 2020. As of that date, the DDA had assets totaling $803,561, liabilities of $87,770, which represented taxes that were collected in December that will be revenue recognized in 2021, but for accounting purposes is recorded as a liability. Resulting in an ending fund balance of $715,791, of which $171,683 was available for use. As of the end of December, the DDA had revenues totaling $242,343, and expenses totaling $257,943, resulting in a net loss of $15,599. We had a planned budgeted spend down of $18,209, so we are a little bit under what our projection was. As we've now moved beyond December 2020, I'm going to be working on finalizing closure of the books in preparation for the auditors who will be on site come April. And I'll be working with Market County on the final tax settlement numbers as well. So these are probably going to adjust a little bit over the next couple of months. Does anybody have any questions?
Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I like the beard. It looks good.
Thank
That-
you.
That's new, isn't it? I don't remember that before.
It's newer, yes.
I missed the last meeting.
He's just growing to match the length in the back.
Yeah.
COVID beard, COVID beard.
Yeah, exactly. It's a COVID beard to match the hair.
I've seen worse. Far worse. So, okay, well, the next thing then is the membership confirmation of the dues, the invoice that we have the copy of, that's from the Chamber of Commerce. And it's a case where I presume that we want to do something like we had done last year so that we have the value for the money, air quotes, you know, that there's some way that the chamber does things like, for example, this facade grant program publicity and things like that, that we sort of help one another and things like that. And did anyone want to elaborate on that or question Bob about that or make a motion to accept the bill?
Just want to ask Jim, what did we project in the budget for the
We had $2,000 budgeted for a contribution to the chamber in 2021.
Given that fact, then Tracy will make a motion
Yeah.
to pay the dues as billed.
Second,
Support.
beat ya.
I was slow on that one. I guess the early bird catches the worm.
We have a motion and support. Do we have any further discussion on the chamber expense? Or I should say investment. How's that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, I got you, Dave.
Thank you, everyone. The motion carries. And that is the perfect segue to go and take and to very briefly, just for the record, say that we had our beautification committee report early, and that Linda Andriaki had a very brief presentation, which was, oh good Lord, the audio on this is terrible. She says, thank you for your support. And I wrote her a check and she says, thank you for that. MSU wants a letter from the city allowing her to work in the garden. Craig is going to coordinate that with Linda. And that is the gist of it. So I think that's the Reader's Digest condensed version of the beautification report.
Except for she shared a story about renting it.
That's right. And she shared her story about how in the drive-through at McDonald's, someone paid her bill and she paid the bill behind her. And that just shows how wonderful people are in this town. Well, it's a little litmus test. So anyway, Lynn's a pretty good egg. The next thing then is the chamber report, and Bob is here. So thank you for being here, and sorry for the delay, Bob.
That's okay. I got real quick because I'm not trying to remember we got a DDA, but yeah, as of at the end of the year, we're at about 16,000 cash reserve with 192 members, which is about where we were last year. Since the cash reserve is up, so we're financially a little more stable than we have been. See how this year rolls. The challenges of events will continue for a number of months yet. We'll see where it goes and keeping it move forward.
So our little grants, you'll sneak in here in a couple spots?
Yeah, like the publicity part.
Yeah, our little facade grant.
Yeah, we can do that in the West End. We can do Wednesday letter. If you guys want to run it as a single post, I can do personal visits.
That might kill a couple of birds with one stone if you visited a few, especially in the historic core downtown. Getting you some additional members and getting the information out about the facade grant program. That's a very good idea. I do want to say that I found that the things that have been done through the chamber, buy local campaigns, even the small version of Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. Small Business Saturday for us small businesses has turned into sort of a big deal. And Bob went around and took packets of flyers and little posters and things like that. So it's these little incremental things that are helpful to our local businesses, and I at least appreciate that. So is there anyone that has any questions for Bob specifically?
Bob, this is Dave Arrow. Was the GINCC able to apply for a PPP loan?
We are currently eligible. We'll be working with Bank on that. Since the PPP2 has opened up the 501c6, C6 is eligible for PPP, yes. So we will be applying. It's estimated to hopefully get about $10,500.
Thank you.
Great question, Dave, and I do hope that Bob it works out.
Sure, for sure.
Anything else?
Yeah, well, we had to turn it off because of the noise.
Yeah, we couldn't hear. So yeah, we can either have heat or we can hear, but not both. So anyway,
We're working on that.
Anything else for Bob?
Do you want to, you've got your little sink in the Teal Lake campaign. You want to?
Oh, the Teal Lake meltdown is, yeah, so if you guys are interested, you can purchase guesses for when the head frame structure on Teal Lake will melt. We finally got it onto the lake this past Saturday. We launched it actually in December, which gained about 120 early guesses. And that's a cooperative between the County Alliance and the GINCC.
And where do you buy the tickets at?
You can buy them online.
Okay.
Either go to the website, gincc.org, there's a link there, or to countyalliance.com. We'll have physical tickets probably in the next week. There'll be a limited supply of those.
Any other questions for Bob? Hearing none, thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. And you're welcome. And say hello to the Nagani DDA. The next thing is the Ishpeming Community Events Report.
Well, there's nothing really to report, given that COVID, and we don't really have anything going on now until summer. We're still going to be working for, Music in the Park and then Festival of Treasures. We probably won't have a meeting. I think we're looking at May, beginning of May. But other than that, because nothing really starts then until July.
Right, I mean, I was into Globe Printing the other day and Kurt was there and I said so, and everything, and he was all enthusiastic as he always is. And
He did a great job with Music in the Park, and we had,
it was
knock on,
wonderful.
we had no problems.
No,
People were
great.
respectful, and it was very well attended.
Yes. Well, I think we all grew so desperate for something to do and something uplifting and something positive that it represented all of those things. And very safe, outdoors, lots of fun. We ordered our pizza, brought our folding chairs, sat and ate our pizza. The only thing that would have made it better was Cognition beer. I know, we went over after the concert and had our Cognition beer, so life was perfect. So yeah, it's a nice thing.
So not mentioned, but the city did this last time, they just did it for Santa, but is their desire to do Easter Bunny around town on a fire truck again?
I think it's a fabulous idea, but I guess it's something that you guys have facilitated, that it's not
Yeah,
necessarily
so
been,
it's- Yes, you're right.
because
It's
we,
sort of not yours, sort of ours. It was sort of, we couldn't do what the city normally does in the
Right.
community events, so we did something else. But I guess the question is, is there desire to do it and maybe even find a Easter Bunny to help us with it or something that, I don't know who wears the suit.
I think that was kind of facilitated through the fire department, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It
Oh, really?
was. I think it was sort of a migrate Ishpeming community events, fire department, city, like it's a whole bunch of stuff. But if you have somebody that would be willing to step up as an Easter Bunny opportunity, maybe.
I can check, but
Let me know. If
I
not,
can
we'll
tell
figure
you
it out.
honestly, you've been to our meetings, we have, 5 people and 4 of them are women. So. Let's be honest.
Male or female behind that mask.
Well, Jason had at one point volunteered to be Santa if no one else would do it. So I don't know how you feel about heaving chocolate eggs at the kids or anything like that, but
I might be a little too rotund to be the Easter Bunny.
I
If
guess
I'm just riding around on a fire truck, I could be the Easter Bunny.
I think that's a great idea, Eric. So there you go.
Well, and I've got Eric's cell phone number, so I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, just let me know.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any Ishpeming community events related questions or comments or anything?
I'll make a comment to this group. It's not live yet, but one of the things that's on that flyer is opting into notifications. So when we have something, we will be able to share it. So whether it's the Easter Bunny traveling around town or whether it's the concert series begins or whatnot, there'll be an opportunity if people opt into that. Don't share that yet. It's not live yet.
The only
This is
person
your
I
test
shared it
group.
with was Eric.
Okay, but this is a test group. We're still not live yet.
Okay.
But as it becomes live, this becomes a tool for us to notify folks of this. Now, trick is it's really meant for Ishpeming. And, I think the word's gonna get out and people are gonna see, Nagani and Ishpeming Township and Nagani Township folks that pay attention to Ishpeming events.
But is that necessarily a bad thing? We're not going
Only when
to,
it comes to my texting capacity of how many messages I'm allowed to send in a year.
There it
Okay.
is. Yeah, that's it.
That's the only place it becomes an issue is when I have a cap on how many notifications I can send in a year, and I hit that threshold because our numbers went too large. So right now, it's an Ishpeming tool for Ishpeming residents, and we don't want to overuse it. And like you'll see, as we test this system for a report, it's you report something, the system talks back to you. You report something else, the system talks back to you. You report something else, the system
Oh my.
talks back.
Yeah.
It's 10 messages before you finish your submission.
Wow.
And so if I'm only allowed a certain number and it nights out and I'm sending 10 at a time for a report, if I sent 6,000 at a time for a notification to an event, my balance goes faster. So there is a point at which it could be a bad thing. Right now, I'm assuming it's not a bad thing, right? But anyway, so we can think about in the future, it doesn't have to be considered part of the community events, but it could be a community event that goes out a notification that this thing could be shared. So, hey, beautification is about to begin. If you want to buy a flower basket, or if you want to do other stuff, you know, this tool can be used for all of those things.
Oh, yeah.
It's not limited to any one group, as long as we're sharing information across Ishpeming. So if I had business owners that were in a list, I may be able to send this notification, this grant to the business owners. So it's just, you know, there's opportunity ahead as far as that goes.
So I have something, community event, but it's not an ice thing, but, and I know Craig, you've been in the loop a little bit. I'm on the Ishpeming Ski Club board also, as is Bob. Anyway, I'm not going to give details on anything because those Finns would kill me because they're all working on their public release thing, and I'm not going to step on anyone's toes, but there's going to be a tournament.
Yeah, they were already said March, right? The beginning of March.
It's going to be the beginning of March, 5th or something. At beginning of March, it's going to be a tournament. I'm not going to say which hills are being used because those guys would drag me over the coals for saying that. They're taking care of that. But you know, like a junior tournament, and it may or may not have spectators. We'll just have to see how that goes. And on positive, there's a lot going on up at Suicide, which is going through a name change. I don't know if you heard that.
Oh, no.
I didn't.
Yeah, the world moves on. You know,
Yeah, the world does move on. Suicide's not a good word, really.
no, you know,
Well, we actually
the
have
kids,
some of our companies
suicide
that
with kids,
wouldn't
and that's just
support,
so, anyway.
what we were doing.
But anyway, there's a lot
help
going on.
them
Construction in the hills. It's really, the club's been really re-energized in the past 15 years. It's cool. So
Awesome. Does anyone else have any other old business? Any old
Yes.
business? Yes, Sandy.
My old business is I would like to hopefully clarify from our last meeting on the Rainbow Bar property, from what I recall. Remember, there were problems with the other building where we had to fix a bunch of stuff up there.
Yep.
And then Tebow came back to us and said that, well, then he had trouble with his side that had Sherry's restaurant on it or whatever it was called. And so we basically said, okay, you can have the property. We're not going to fix your wall, but you do have to do something that's nice, you know, like the patio or the fence. It can't be for parking. We do need to have,
Yes,
you know,
that's all-
grass
that's-
and flowers, whatever. And that was it. As far as putting a window in, we can't tell a business about putting in a drive-through or a window. I recall Dave being the one saying he would like to do that.
That's right. Yes, that's correct.
And then that got put in, you know, in writing in our packet. And I really just, I mean,
That was a
he
distraction.
could have done something in 3 years.
Right.
Now,
That
I
a
was upset
distraction.
about that because I've put in plants outside in front of my building where you know, we might not have a lot of extra money for such things, but it doesn't cost that much. And it's not that much effort to put in a bush or even a little fence that you're kind of talking about. So that part of it is like, you could have done something in 3 years.
Well, and you're right. And that is why Craig correctly phrased it as
Yes.
the last
Yes.
offer, last ditch possibility. That's not the exact
Last chance agreement.
last chance agreement.
Right.
Right,
And-
because you're right. I mean.
But
could
when
there
it
have been stuff
comes
done?
to
Right.
his building per se, we cannot tell him, well, you said you're going to do a window on this and hold him to that.
No, correct. I agree.
So I just wanted, as old business, to bring it up that this is just on the land and that he needs to do something to make it look well, beautification, I guess, is really what we're looking
Well,
to
so we-
have there. So
we
it's
specified during that last meeting.
right,
There were like 7 different criteria that were
Yes.
originally listed.
That's right.
right.
And we brought it down to 4, and he's agreed to that in
Yes.
writing. So it's an agreed document. It's a contract between the
Right.
EDA and that business owner.
But
what's
I
going
just wanted to
forward.
clarify that originally it was just on this piece of property and what the DDA wanted him to do, which happened to be like the sidewalk or the beautification thing, that we really shouldn't have gotten into all that other stuff about his window or drive-through or anything, because,
So once he signed an agreement, he signed an agreement. And I mean, it's old business. We've taken it out since then.
Oh,
That
yeah.
piece is out. But if he signed an agreement.
that he was gonna do that,
he
you
was
mean?
gonna do that. Then
Okay,
it's a signed agreement.
I got,
He had a signed agreement.
yes, I understand that
And now
now.
we've taken that out of his signed agreement for going forward on a last chance agreement, because he said he can do 4 to
Okay.
7 things. But he had signed up for it.
That's true,
So if
he
he
did.
signed up for it, that's a
Yeah.
commitment. That's not anybody
Okay.
putting it on him, from my perspective.
Yes, very good.
Mhm.
I was just trying to go back through my notes and thinking that maybe because he talked about it, now I understand what happened. He signed off on it. Okay.
And then just to be the devil's advocate, I was looking at the building and thinking, well, it's plausible that he could use some sort of a Dutch type of window for his back door that opens onto the alley slash, is that technically Canada right there?
No,
No.
Canda's in front of him.
Yeah, so it's the little alley that
I
runs
know,
behind
yeah.
him, and he could do some sort of drive-through depending, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that's all up to him as far as the new agreement goes, because that stipulation was removed. But I agree with Craig. He signed on to the other,
Okay.
and, but then again, we've had a pandemic, it continues. We've had different business closures and things like that. And I don't think it's our intent to necessarily screw anyone over, but it's also our intent not to be screwed over.
Exactly.
And he did do a lot of work inside.
I don't think he's gonna do what the Congress did to the lot that we gave them, though. I
I
don't
think,
think he's,
Maybe he'll apply for a facade grant.
Well, I would think that he would for something, but the land just needs to be done from the original. But like Craig said, it's a done deal. I just wanted to voice my opinion on what I recall. So I'm done.
you had no other old business?
No, sir.
Did anyone else have any other old business? Then we're gonna move on to new business. Does anyone have any new business?
I will just make mention that the Mining Journal has new folks. So Lisa Bowers, depending on if you work with the Mining Journal much, Lisa Bowers is now with TV10,
Really?
and Katie, and I forget Katie's last name, is now taking Lisa's job at the Mining Journal. So,
Yeah, Lisa's the news director over at ABC 10 now.
and Katie emailed us today to let us, do a handshake via email. But if you're one of those that usually works with the Mining Journal for any regularity, you'll know that that's a change, and you might want to know who Katie is at some point. But
Where did you say Lisa went?
TV10, news director.
Okay.
Katie Segula, Segula, is the new Lisa at the Mining Journal. So,
Okay. Any other new business? I will just.
I'm not entirely sure this is appropriate, but I technically have a downtown business now. I incorporated Locks Industries for creative and entertainment services. I do some graphic design and stand-up comedy. So yeah, if you guys are looking for any of that, I have incorporated a business above Brogies.
Really, that's cool. I think we need stand-up comedy 24/7 in the world we're living in right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm not 100% sure it's appropriate for business settings, but after hours stuff, yeah.
There you go. I do have, oh, and Eric, thank you. Were you done? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, I was all done.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to mention that in this past weekend's Mining Journal, Saturday, Sunday edition, in the first section, on the next to the last page, was a West End update from the manager of the city of Negaunee. I did find the article to be very interesting. So if anyone has a copy of the Mining Journal sitting around, I thought that it was interesting as to what they talked about as far as things that would relate directly to what the work that a DDA does. And so I just thought it was interesting as someone who is not from here. Other than competitive grants, I do not look at Negaunee as our competitor. I look at them as a town who has many of the same assets that our town does and many of the same problems that our town does. And so high school sports aside, I look at them as someone who can be more often than not an ally as opposed to any perceived adversary. So when I think about these towns and I think about what we have in common, I think we have a lot more in common than we do not. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. But it talks a lot about historical preservation and things like that. If you don't have this, I would like for you to have it.
I have.
You have it. All right, there we go.
Thank you.
So anyway, that was it. Does anyone else have any new business?
6 o'clock is the great Ishpeming meeting. I have another meeting, so I won't be doing it, but you probably got an email about that to Zoom.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
So moved.
We have a couple of them, and so we have support. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, everyone. Good to see everyone, Zoom and otherwise.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.